Big one tonight. It was an unusual working weekend for Donald Trump, who was in Asia at the G20 meeting instead of on the golf course. And maybe it was the jet lag or the change in routine or something, but he had some moments, like when a reporter asked him about the Biden-Harris busing debate.
Well, it has been something that they've done for a long period of time. I mean, you know, there aren't that many ways you're going to get people to schools. So this is something that's been done. In some cases, it's been done with a hammer instead of a velvet glove, and, you know, that's part of it. So, but it is certainly a primary method of getting people to schools.
I mean, it's true. Also, the wheels on the bus go round and round. But I don't think that was really the question. Later, someone asked for his reaction to Putin's comments about the decline of, quote, Western-style liberalism, you know, foundation of democracy in Europe and America, the transatlantic alliance, and a thing that maybe Donald Trump has never heard of.
He sees what's going on, and I guess if you look at what's happening in Los Angeles, where it's so sad to look, and what's happening in San Francisco and a couple of other cities, which are run by an extraordinary group of liberal people, I don't know what they're thinking.
Western liberalism. Okay, anyway, there was one more answer from the president that made our ears perk up, because the return to one of our favorite Trump tics, the old exaggerated numbers routine. And that's thing two in 60 seconds. So Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin got the chance to spend some quality time together while they were both in Japan for the G20 summit over the weekend. And in between friendly chit-chat about election meddling, Trump says Putin invited him to visit Russia next year for the 75th anniversary of the Allies' victory over the Nazis in World War II.
He did invite me to Russia for the defeat of Nazis. That's a big thing, defeat of Nazis. You know, Russia lost, he said, 25 million people. I had actually heard 50 million people, but he said yesterday that Russia fighting the Nazis, they lost 25 million people.
You see what he did there? Putin told him a number, 25 million, but Trump says he heard it was 50 million. And that's because whenever Donald Trump hears a number, no matter what the number is or what it signifies or what it's counting, he's got to make it bigger.
We've created almost 500,000, soon it's going to be 600,000 manufacturing jobs.
We have vets that used to wait online for 7 days, 20 days, 30 days. I've heard up to 38 days.
2 days, 5 days, 20 days, 30 days, 50 days.
To build a highway in this country would take 17, 18, 20, and even 21 years.
You could have lost 30, 40, 50 million people.
401ks are up 30, 40, in some cases much higher than that percent.
Well, they have 90, they have 92, and they have 93%. They have massive tariffs on us, 50%, in one case 100%, in some cases more than that.
You know, Russia lost, he said, 25 million people. I had actually heard 50 million people.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.